Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a Bible journal process video for you. I am working in the book of Matthew right here at the end, Matthew 28. And I'm focusing on the very end where it says, "And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." I have some acrylic paints pulled out in some fall colors, and I'm going to do a seasonal spread here. And the focus is on anxiety and the fact that God is with us in all seasons of our life. So I will make sure to link everything that I end up using down below. Otherwise, I'll put you guys on fast forward. Let's go. Okay, I just want to start out with a disclaimer that I am not super pleased with how this Bible journaling page turns out, and I'm showing it to you anyway, and I was actually really frustrated and wanted to just redo the whole thing, and I decided I would just show it to you guys anyway, because not every page that you do you're going to be in love with. Like, there's going to be things that you would change about most of the pages. I feel like that, at least that's been my trend, because the art part is different, and we kind of go through different phases. And I had a vision for this page and it didn't quite turn out, but it doesn't mean the time wasn't meaningful and that the thought behind the page wasn't meaningful. So I thought I would share with you how this page comes together. I drew my tree right here, and I'm just taking some brown acrylic paint in a very small paintbrush and trying to add in the branches for the tree. They were fine. The tree itself I actually really like. It's what comes around the tree. I feel like it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and I end up covering up part of it, and it all comes together, I guess, in the end. It's just not what I had thought it would be, and so I was kind of disappointed, and that happens, so we're just gonna go with it. So adding in this brown acrylic paint right here just to be the base of the tree. I'm using all acrylic, and on each step I make sure to dry the page completely before adding in something else, because if I did not let this brown dry before I started working with some of the fall color, then it would all get mixed up. So I wanted to make sure that it was nice and dry before I added the next layer. So pretty simple, just a really basic little sketch tree right here, and then I'm going to add some different fall color on the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just add some dabs of different colors on the tree, and then use an additional brush to kind of blend so that it would end up being a fall tree. So you can see just dabs of that blood orange, a lot of dabs of yellow. I wanted yellow to kind of be the primary color in there. I'll add a few little regular orange colors in there, and then just a little bit of this dark red, not a ton of that. And then I'm going to take, first I try this fan brush, which really ended up being fanned a little bit too much for me. I needed a little bit more yellow right there. So I didn't really like how that was turning out, so I put that down quickly before everything dries, and changing my mind, picking a bigger brush right here, and this does the job. I like the texture that I'm able to get. I like the blending of the colors. To me, it does totally look like a fall tree that's kind of like lit up from the inside. I don't know if you've seen fall trees like that. I was from Texas, or I grew up in Texas, and we didn't have a lot of fall trees like that. And here in Northern Virginia, we definitely do. And they look like they're lit up from the inside. I just love it. So I add a few fall leaves at the bottom, and then I wanted some fall leaves kind of cascading down, because my idea was the wind was knocking leaves off of the tree. And I did those leaves cascading down. Not a big fan of how they turned out, but I decided, you know what I'm going to do is add some wind gusts, and that will kind of sell the wind part a little bit more, just adding a little bit more red in here. So letting all this dry, and then I'm going to come back with some acrylograph pens to add in these wind gusts. Okay, so I come in with a pencil first to kind of draw out where I think my wind gust will go, and then I'm going to come back with a gray acrylograph pen. I wasn't sure how I wanted the what I wanted the color to be, but I didn't want it to be black because I wanted it to kind of fade, kind of just be the hint that wind was blowing, and that's why there were these gusts. And I'm just tracing over the pencil with the acrylograph pen, and it works okay. I'm not sure that it comes off as wind right there. My idea was that this was representing the fall season, the winds of change. Fall is a time when everything changes and a lot of things leave us. And the verse I'm focused on says, "And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." And I get a lot of anxiety around change. When things change, my anxiety is really high. And anxiety is something that I deal with on a daily basis. And I wanted to kind of just remind myself that even when things change, God is always there. He's there in the change of the seasons. He's there in the change of the seasons of our lives. He's walking with us along these paths that we have. In fact, he's set up these paths for us. So I wanted to remind myself of that, and I thought the fall tree with the leaves blowing would give me that image, and that's what I wanted to focus on. Honestly, I think my title placement is where things started to go wrong. I wanted my title at the top. I'm using, again, an acrylograph pen. I love these. They do not go through your Bible page, which is awesome, and you still get a really bold color. So I'm coming with this dark, dark red. Again, I didn't want to go with black. I just wanted to steer away from black for this page. So I'm bolding up some of the letters, adding additional lines to kind of give it that hand lettered look, but you can't really see the word here. And so I decide what I really need to do, I let it dry. I'm adding a shadow with this dark brown, and that works. You can really see how it's adding a lot of oomph to those alphas, making them pop just a little bit more, and it's really going to have the here jump out just a little bit more. So the title of the page, My God is Always Here, and it's at the top of the tree where, and then things are starting to change. The wind is blowing, moving the leaves, but in the end, those leaves, it didn't look right. It just looked messy. I had this accidental mark at the top of the page that was bugging me. Have you ever had a Bible journaling page where you had a clear vision and things went wrong or it just didn't come together? I don't know. That's how I felt with this one. I was real frustrated. I didn't like the mark at the top of the page. So I decided what I wanted to do was maybe to get some washi tape. So I have some clear grid washi tape. It's white and black. So it's going to cover up that mark with this little bow. And then you're not really going to be able to see the mark. So that kind of solves that problem. But now the washi tape is only on one part of the page, which is kind of a no-no in my book. I like to repeat washi tape. So I'm thinking, well, I want to journal at the bottom. How am I going to journal at the bottom? Because now I have these random yellow marks. I'm just going to cover up this section because I don't like it. So this is just paper from Felicity Jane. I'm going to cover up this bottom section. I'm going to take some scissors and I'm going to messy up the sides of this, kind of distress it a little bit just to give it a little bit more interest. I considered running it through my sewing machine, but I wasn't really interested in doing that. That was going to be too much because really the tree was supposed to be the main part, but I didn't like where I had left myself to journal, and I had lots to say because I wanted to talk about anxiety and why this verse meant something to me. So this is what we're going with. Plus, because I'm using this paper, it kind of gives me a place to layer some washi tape because I can layer it behind this paper. So now it's in 3 different parts of the page. And I had that space down there because of how this Bible is laid out. It was blank anyway, so I'm not having to cover up any text. You can see I still have some trapped white space, and that's what I was pointing to. It was kind of bugging me. I'm not sure what I could do there, but it wasn't right. So that's okay. I'm going to take it from this point. I was frustrated. I decided, you know what I want to do? I'm just going to take it and go journal. So I journaled off camera, wrote about the anxiety that I deal with, wrote about how one of the things that brings me comfort is knowing that even though I feel anxious about a situation, God is right there no matter what. And that's where I'm going to leave this page. You won't always love every Bible journaling page, but this one was still meaningful for me. So I decided to go ahead and edit the video and show it to you guys. Just like always, I have linked the supplies down below. I want to give a special shout out to my Scrappy YouTube members. You guys are awesome. I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.